Don't bring in no chocolate syrup or anything. All right, order of operations. That's one of the reasons I was confused when those homework problems you sent last time with the order of operations, because the first section in this chapter is order of operations. So that's why I was a little bit confused. I think somebody messed up on the homework when they put those in that, because it doesn't fit. But anyway, we'll go ahead and talk about, I've already talked about the order of operations with y'all, but I'm going to go over it one more time just in case. I'm not going to tell you the joke about the guys going down here, but we'll just go over addition and subtraction, brother and sister, so that means if they're in a sentence, that means left to what? Left to right. Multiplication and division, brother and sister, left to right. If you have a mix between the two, that's cousins, and cousins go and salads. Meaning, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And it goes this way with math, and it goes this way with algebra. Okay. So we went over that last week or the week before. We went over homework questions, and there were some homework questions in there, you know, that look like this: 2 times 3 plus 2 over 6 divided by 2 minus 4. I don't know, look something like that. And those are the ones that's supposed to be in this section. So I don't know, whoever made the homework up for the course, you must have messed up. So, but that's order of operations. So what chapter is this? 6.1? Yes. 6.1, somebody look at the book and tell me what the title is. It should be, okay, that's this. So, let me pull up some of the homework questions and we'll do a couple. Oh, one more thing I need to do. Let me do this. Y'all are impressed, aren't you? These two words. Whenever you see those words, that means plug and chug. Okay, meaning if you say evaluate the following expression, then you're going to plug in numbers and turn out the arithmetic. But it says determine. If something is a solution, you're going to plug in the numbers and turn out the arithmetic. Most of your homework or test questions out of this unit will be evaluate or determine. And when you see those two words in the directions, that means you're going to plug and chug. Okay? Now, let's pull up some problems and just make sure. Now, are we talking about 80% of the test here or 10% of the test? Talking about 10% of the test. So you're not talking about a lot of problems on the test. So we'll do a couple of problems, and if you can do them, then you're good to go. If you can't do them, then we need to work on some and make sure you can do it. So I'm going to go to main menu, chapter contents, no sneezing in class. 6.1, study plan. I thought that was a sneeze. What was it? Oh, I thought it was a sneeze. Well, a lot of, if you, okay, when you are a teacher, you hear let's see, I got 100 students. I hear 100 times different things more than y'all do.
This whole
Okay.
morning, Jason, we used to start like a duck.
He did what?
We used to sneeze like a duck.
Sneeze like a duck. Where's my?
I don't know, but it sounded like a duck.
Okay, I hit study plan and nothing come up. What's up with that? Okay, let's go to homework. No, I can't go to homework because I haven't decided yet. Chapter 6, 6.1, study plan. Okay. I'm on Internet Explorer, so let's try Google. Sorry, you just have to hold on a minute. Something's playing with the, oh, what it's doing. All my homework won't come up, so I just need to quit, right? Yep, don't even try, just quit. Get run. That don't sound nice. www.tctc.mylabsplus.com. And whenever MyLabs Plus acts a little weird, the first thing you need to do is switch search engine, so that usually fixes it. Okay. It's still working. Come on, you can do it. Okay, it's still working. Evidently something's wrong with MyLab Plus, because it doesn't take this long to pull up something. Okay. I should just give up and say the heck with it. I know. Let me just do that. Let me go and pull up the book. Okay. Y'all know what it is, don't you? The Russians. They have tapped into MyLab Plus and they're going to take over. They're going to do your homework for you. Okay, now I'm pulling up the book. Waiting for Pearson. While we wait on that, I'm going to pull this one up and let's see which one comes up first. That one's not come up yet. That one hadn't come up yet. Yep, the Russians have hacked into. Okay, we'll just put one on the board. Let me just write it like they would write it. Evaluate the following. It'll say something like that. Evaluate the following with x equal to 4, and y equal to 3. X squared plus 4x minus 3y. Just work around it. I'm trying to figure this out. I don't know why I have to go through all this. Something's wrong with, evidently something's wrong with Facebook. I mean, not Facebook. Something's wrong with,
Yeah, I'm just trying to do it.
okay. Something's wrong with the site that I can't pronounce right now. MyLabs Plus. How you say MyLabs Plus in Russian, Mr. Stalin? Huh? How you say website? Do you know? Internet. Oh me, I can't move it, so I just might as well forget pulling up the textbook today or anything else. So what do? The first thing you do is you write the formula with parentheses. And then plug in what? So x is 4, and y is what? And then plug into it. 4 squared is 16. 16 plus 8 minus 9. 16 plus 8 is 24. 24 minus 9, 15. Yep, it sure is. I just had a brain bubble. 16, there we go. And what is 0 minus 9? Thank you. So that's how you evaluate.
Okay.
Yeah.
The upside down, that, the way they put that in that blue.
That is a caret symbol. K-A-R-E-T. Caret symbol, that's an exponential symbol. So if you want to raise something to an exponent, what? Oh.
I'm telling you, it's like that.
I was looking at the minus symbol, I'm sorry. 32 minus 9 is what? 23? All right. Determine if x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 1 is a solution. Again, there's your determinant. X squared plus y is equal to 5.
Yeah.
And you plug and shove. And put a 2 in here and put a 1 in here. And 2 squared hopefully is 4, so I don't screw it up. Is 5 equal to 5? Yes, so it is a solution. What if it was not a solution? It would come up to be 6 is equal to 10, or negative 2 is equal to 5, or something untrue. Those are the 2 type problems that you will have in this homework. Okay, so do about 10 of them, and if you can do all 10 of them, you're good for the test because you're only going to see probably 2 on the test. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this section. And plus, you did a lot of this in pre-algebra. If you remember, pre-algebra was a lot of plugging and chugging. So let's move on. If this will work. Let's see if 6.2 works. .2 is probably algebra. Here we go. Huh?
Algebra graphs.
Mm-hmm.
It's called formulas, is what it's called.
There we go. Okay, we're not doing 6.2 right now. We're gonna skip to 6.3. Okay? We're gonna mix around, so just 6.1, next section is 6.3. 6.3, and I'm gonna go back to your handy dandy pre-algebra. We're gonna visit pre-algebra again and algebra 1, and we're gonna go through some, because this is where a lot of people get a little bit bogged down. Now back in pre-algebra, 6.3. Back in pre-algebra, they taught you how to do basic one-step equations. They told you the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And they said, okay, x plus 4 is equal to 6. And they told you to balance this equation, you subtracted 4 because your main objective was to get the variable what? By itself. And boom, you're done. And then they told you x minus 3 is equal to 10. And they told you to get rid of the subtraction, you added 3. And you do it on both sides, you get x is equal to 13. Plug and shove back in, you get the original, you get a balanced equation. Here they told you to say 2x is equal to 4. Opposite of division, multiplying by 2 is division by 2. And x is equal to 2. And then they told you x divided by 3 is equal to 6. And to get rid of dividing by 3, you what? You multiply by 3, both sides, and x is equal to 18. Okay, so that's what they taught you in pre-algebra. And in algebra 1, they started adding things to it. And that's where people started getting it. Okay? In algebra 1 and 2, which is basically what we're going to go over today, I mean, in this unit. Algebra 1 and 2, they started adding things. 1. Combining what? Combining like terms. They started adding that. Then they started adding what? Distributive law. And then you add distributive law, what do you go back to? You go back to combining like terms after you distribute. And then they started adding more steps. And then they started adding fractions and what? Decimals. Okay? So this is usually what happens. You go in pre-algebra, you learn how to do them, you go, oh, I'm happy, happy, happy. And then you go in algebra 1 or 2, and then they totally lose you. That's usually what happens. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about everybody, I'm talking about a few people. Okay? So, I would pretty much be confident in saying that all of you know how to do the left-hand side. So we're going to start with just number 1 on the next one, and we're going to go through all of those steps. So everybody is refreshed on all of those, so you can do 6.3 homework. So let's do this one. 2x plus 4x minus 2 plus 6 is equal to 3x minus x. All right, write that down and see if you can do it. This is your first thing, combining like terms on the left and the right. I'm going to take the roll while y'all are working. Everybody's Skyping in, I can quiz it. Everybody's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to ask y'all an economics question. If you're a CEO of a company that's already about to go under, do you nationally claim that you're going to boycott a line of clothing? So if you're Kmart or Sears, who's about to go under anyway, you go on national TV or the national media and say, we're going to boycott Trump line of products. Might as well just throw you a cement block while you're trying to shed water, because most of the people in the United States voted electorally for Trump. And if you are a company that's barely making a profit and fixing to go under, why would you boycott? It makes no logic sense whatsoever. Huh? Stupid. That'd be like you owning a fruit stand and on the side of the road and telling people, put the sign up and say, we got worms in our fruit.
It's not yours.
No, Kmart and Sears.
Oh, they do the same?
Yeah.
Does that make-
Kmart's closing stores. Sears, nobody goes to Sears.
Why did,
Yeah, it is the president.
why did someone go under?
Huh?
Why did they not-
Because Walmart put them under, for one thing.
They should put them out of business and not seriously. Never do that.
Well, I think Sears bought out Kmart, didn't it?
That was stupid.
Yeah.
Who?
I could understand buying Walmart or Walmart buying Sears, but Sears buying Kmart? That's like blind man trying to help a blind person out. I mean,
Eric also went out of business with the money, you know that?
Oh, I think that was just like, they don't think this is too little.
No, they really did, because I used to work there and they send me something about 1/4 of the yard for, they have a foreclosure or something about, here's my case, if they owe me
They're
money or
locked down,
something.
they got this sign up there.
Yeah, I know they do.
well, I'm sorry, but if I am a CEO of a company and I carry clothes and I am barely keeping a profit, I'm not going to boycott what? Anybody.
Right?
That is, somebody tell me the logic in that. I mean, I can understand Nordstrom because Nordstrom is a very successful company. I can understand that. But a company that's barely alive doesn't make any sense. All right, everybody's here, right? Anybody here, not raise your hand. What'd you have to do? Why?
They gave it take off and then sprayed all kinds of things and all that. That's how you go.
Oh, they're trying to be like those places in New York. That's what they're trying to do. When you walk into a lobby in a hotel in New York, it smells like a perfume factory. You know, there is nothing worse, and maybe I'm just one of these realistic type person. There is nothing worse than somebody who's trying to be something that's not. They're not. You know, Greenville trying to be New York. That's Greenville's Podunk Greenville, just like Anderson's Podunk Anderson. You ain't gonna be Atlanta, and you're not gonna be New York. You ain't got any high rises. You don't have any big. I mean, people go, I'm going to Greenville. Well, whoop-de-doo. They think you going to Greenville is like going to New York. There's so much fake people. I don't like fake people. I don't like it. I guess it's the farm coming out in me. I guess I just.
I'm going to Sullivan's, only owe $300,000 worth of credit cards, but I'm going to Sullivan's. You better be going to work, paying off the damn bill.
I'm sorry, just ignore me. What's 2x plus 4x? What's negative 2 plus 6? How about positive 4? Equals 3x minus 1x. Now, there's two objectives in algebra. One, get the variable, what? By itself. Now, the second one, I really try to adhere by. Not many teachers do, but I do, because it's very important when we get into inequalities. This second one really helps, and that is keep the variable what? Positive. If I was to hire you on my farm, and I was to tell you that your job was to feed the horses, and there's a barn, and there's a big thing of feed inside the barn on both sides, sweet feed. Okay, on both sides of the barn. Once you go into the barn, there's a corn crib on the right that's full of feed, and a corn crib on the left that's full of feed. For those of you that don't know what a corn crib is, it's a 10 by 10 square that's built about halfway up with a wall that you dump corn or feed in and just dig it. That's what a corn crib is. It looks like a room with half walls, about this tall. That's what a corn crib is. All right? And you've got a 5-gallon bucket, and this one's dip with, and you've got a 2-gallon bucket on this side. Which one will most people choose? A 2-gallon bucket or a 5-gallon bucket? 2-gallon bucket. Why? Because it's less heavy, it's easier to what? It's easier to deal with. If you fill up a 5-gallon bucket with feed, are you going to be able to carry it? Some people won't be able to. Most Americans won't, because we've turned into a bunch of tacitus and we can't lift anything. So the 2-gallon bucket is what people are usually going to go with.
See, this is calculating.
I'm talking about, can you lift a 5-gallon bucket? 10-gallon bucket. 55-gallon drum. Okay, there's a 55-gallon drum sitting over here. All right, you're not going to win this argument. All right, there. There's a 55-gallon drum sitting over there and a 2-gallon bucket. Now, which one are you going to choose? All right. Most people will choose the smallest what? Smallest bucket. All right. So, which one's the smallest bucket? The 6x or the 2x? You're going to move the 2x over. And that will always keep your variable positive. So 6x minus 2x plus 4 is equal to 0. Now I do this for two reasons. One is I'm trying to keep the variable positive. But at the other point, a lot of you will take the 2x over here, and this is what y'all will do. You'll sit there and stare at it. Like that. But if you put a 0 there, you know what to do next. Move the 4 what? Over. And you get 4x is equal to what? And then divide by 4. And x is equal to. Now, if you follow the smallest bucket rule, 99% of the time you will be able to keep the variable positive. And in the inequality section, which is 6.5, I think, 6.4 or 6.5, it will save you 2 steps at the end of the problem that you'll forget on a test. And that is to divide through by negative, and then when you divide through by negative, what does that do to the inequality? It flips it. Now that's 2 rules that you don't have to remember if you keep the variable positive.
So,
Yeah.
I don't like this. When you move the 4 over, it's subtracting 3, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
do this. There's two ways to remember that. One is to take your handy dandy highlighter and draw you a river right here. Because the equal sign is what? The river. In Old Kingdom Egypt and of course the Middle East, most people, when you're alive, if you go across the river, what are you? Dead. It's the opposite. Okay? So if you take something across the river, it becomes -4. Okay. Or some people go, if I want to get rid of 4, I subtract it. If you subtract it on one side, either way you do it, it's the same thing.
Right. The last step there was division.
I want x by itself, so I gotta, what undoes multiplying by 4. Dividing by 4. If you do it on one side, you gotta do it on the other. Now that is combining like terms. That is one of the first things that you learn after you learn the 4 basic operations of algebra, which is adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. The second thing you learn is called the distributive law. Now, has anybody ever worked with concrete before? Good. Well, what'd you do with concrete? Good. Oh, building a wall. You racist Russian. No, you wasn't. You build a wall around your house because you think you're racist. Yeah, that's what it means. If you build a wall around your house or you lock your house, that means you're what? Racist, because you don't want people in your house. There you go. So this is I'm just being facetious, I'm being stupid like some of these people in the world in the US today. All right, let's say you're gonna make in Florida you can't dig a hole for a mailbox, so you have to put a little pedestal on the bottom because you can't dig a hole, you might fill a crab or something. So you got to do a cement. Yeah, and let's say this is 1 foot high, 2 foot by 2 foot, and you put your pole here in the mailbox like this. Okay, and you got to build this thing or put it in the ground, or put it a little bit in the ground. There's so much you can't dig like 3 or 4 feet in the ground, so you can dig the top and then put it in there, but you can't dig more than 6 inches or something like that in certain parts of Florida. Anyway, to make a long story short, you build a box and you pour the concrete in. And while you're building the concrete, your ring falls off into concrete. And if you're a woman, you notice it right off. If you're a man, it's 2 or 3 days before you even notice it. All right? So, what happens to concrete after 48 hours? It cures, yes. Which means that it's hard as a what? Hard as a rock. Your parents did well. Hard as a rock. So, you can either just forget about your ring or you can get it out. Well, there's only one way to get it out, and that is to get a big what? Hammer. And chip away, chip away, chip away until you get the ring out. So, 1, what is your objective? Your objective is to get the ring.
Well, you don't know what's going on.
Then you just quit. You bust blocks until you find the ring. 2, what's the obstacle? The obstacle is what? Concrete block. And what is the tool that you're going to be using? The VA hammer. Because you got to use a big one, because you take a full claw hammer and beat yourself to death. Now what the heck does this have to do with distributive law? Well, you got the following. Here is your block. Here is your ring. And what is that to? 2 is the hammer.
Yeah.
What? Yep. 2 is the hammer. Because you can't do anything with this X until you bust up the what? Bust up the concrete. And that's called the distributive law. You're not going to see that in any book. Guess why? It's a cubism. It's what I used to use as a student. I made it up. So how do you get rid of a negative 8? Take it across the river and it becomes what? Positive 8. 2x is equal to 13 divided by 2. X is equal. And that's how we use distributive. Now, can you combine the distributive law with combining like terms? Yes. We'll do that with the next problem. And I'll let you do it. Okay, you try that. Okay? So we get 2x minus what? 6 plus 4x is equal to 3x minus what? And I can combine like terms over here, and that's going to give me 6x minus 6 is equal to 3x minus 6. And where's my smallest bucket? The 3x. I'm going to take it across the river, and it becomes what? Minus 3x minus 6 is equal to negative 6. And what's 6x minus 3x? And take that 6 across the river, what does it become? So x is equal to 0. That's all there is to it. You can do that,
I
yes.
thought you
I took the 3 over because I want to keep the variable positive.
No, I'm talking about the balance. Why didn't you take that 4x?
How do you get x by itself? You're multiplying by 3. How do you undo multiplying by 3? Divide by 3. That's how I did it. I left the step out if that's what you're asking. Right here. There. Question? Don't get which one, where? No, that's somewhere down the road, somebody has told you that you have to do everything over here and you have to do everything over here. You don't. No, you don't have to. There's actually one teacher, or a certain type of teacher that tells you this. Let me show you one of the wives' tales they tell you. 6x minus 2, or negative 6x minus 2 is equal to 4x minus 4. And they tell you that you can't take this 6x over here because all your x's have to be on the left-hand side. All right, let me ask you a question. What is this called? The seesaw. All right, you got a son and a daughter. Your son is named Jody. Your daughter's named Susan. All right? So you go to Anderson Lily Park, and they have those seesaws, and he sits on the left-hand side. We'll call this the left-hand side since y'all are looking at it, and the right-hand side. So when you go down to the park down in Iowa, Jody can't sit on the right-hand side. He has to sit on the left-hand side. How much sense does that make? Makes none. All right? So whoever told you that you can't put that 6x over on the right-hand side is an idiot. Okay? Because they're telling you that Jody, your son Jody, has to sit on the left hand of the seesaw no matter where you take him in the United States. He has to sit. Yeah, it is. He has to sit on the left-hand side. He can't sit on the right-hand side because that's only for Susan. And if there's another girl comes along, then she has to sit on the right-hand side. Jody has to sit on the left-hand side. Jody can't sit over here. It's stupid. All right. Now, another of your people say, teachers say, you have to combine all 8 terms on the left-hand side, all the x terms on the left-hand side, and all the number terms on the right-hand side. Again, there's nobody that says that, except some certain teachers. Okay, now my pen, it was erased and now it's, I wish somebody could figure this out. Why I have to keep changing this. Okay, now look here. Which one's the smallest bucket? Be careful. Negative 6x or 4x? So you bring it over here, it becomes negative 2 is equal to 4x plus what? Plus 6x minus 4. Take the negative 4 across the river, what does it become? Positive 4. 10x. What's 4 minus 2? Now, there's 2 types of students in here. One type of student says, oh, well, I learned how to go another one. Okay? That student will have problems with inequalities, and they'll get problems wrong because they forget to multiply through or divide through by negative, and they'll forget to turn the inequality around. Not because they don't know how to do it, it's because of time. And what do you make careless mistakes on? A test. Why? Because it's what? Time. All right? Now, then there's another student that goes, I like that. Keeping the variable positive, I like that. And you'll start doing this. So, which student are you? I don't know. So don't say I'm making fun of you because I have no idea what you're thinking about me. But those are the 2 types of students I have when I show them keeping the variable positive. I have one student that goes, oh, I had a teacher back told me who did always do it on the left-hand side. Not picking on you, I'm just saying that's what, we have some idiotic teachers out there. And I mean crazy. I had one in 7th grade, ruined me as far as mathematics goes. And you've had those. And I remember actually in pre-algebra, a teacher telling me, put all the x's on the left-hand side. That's ridiculous. What if you have a negative 6 on the left-hand side and you got a positive 2 on the right-hand side? That's going to make your variable negative. Don't make your variable negative. Keep it positive. That way you don't have to remember those other two rules in the inequality section. Oh, it don't matter. We just keep bogging you down with rules. What are you going to do? You're going to forget. So just keep throwing rules at you. I don't throw rules at you. I take away rules. Kind of like regulations. You know, take away those regulations. Have y'all tried to buy a gas can recently? Yeah. Go buy a gas can and see how idiot-proof it is. You can't work it.
Oh, it has that little side thing? Oh,
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah, that's regulations. That's what regulations do. Regulations say Americans are idiots, so you have to make a product that they're foolproof and won't spill a drop of gas on the engine and catch the engine on fire.
Or slowness.
Yeah. So that's what regulations do. And that regulation makes that gas can $25 instead of $5 because you have to do that. Yeah, go try to use one of those things. You can. You'll end up taking the top off, throwing it away, taking a funnel and pouring it in a funnel. That's what you'll end up doing because the gas thing is just you can't operate it. It's ridiculous. We throw them away and burn them, and then we put the old ones on the old gas can that's got a hole in it. We take it off and put it on the new. Yes, ma'am. Doesn't matter when you do it. It doesn't matter what side you do it. All that matters is if you take it on one side, it changes. If you don't take it on one side, it stays the same. You just have to figure out which way you like to do it. Yeah, 10 over. Remember, tenths place, 2 tenths is equal to 0.2. Okay. All right, y'all get out of here. You got 2 sections of homework. I'll load it up tonight. That's 6.1 and 6.3. We're going to go over fractions and decimals and more steps. We'll go over that Wednesday. Okay? Y'all have a good day. Don't work too hard.